makes me feel helpless, very helpless. Makes me feel like I'm in a gymnasium screaming my lungs out with no one inside to hear. All by myself, and I'm the only one fighting it. No one's listening to us. And it's my problem because I'm the leader of the Fort Peck tribes. It is a big problem that I have to deal with. I got enough problems with what's happening on my reservation right now, with the poverty and the drugs and the drinking and all that. That's what I have to deal with the day to day. I do not need another problem thrown on my shoulders where I have to worry about whether that pipeline's going to break or not. And I have to satisfy all these people in the northeastern corner of Montana to make sure that they get their water. Because if it happens, I have no idea how we're going to do it because we don't have any other fresh water sources. We're at the end of our rope right there with those last two. That's where we're at.
Reservation's right here. And this is Fort Peck Reservoir. The spillway is right here. And if it leaks there, there's about 15 miles of good fishing sportsman's going to lose. They say, well, it's not going to hurt nothing because it's going to sink to the bottom. Well, it's going to evaporate sooner or later.
I feel this is an environmental justice issue. I really do. So you're going to put a pipeline off reservation, right? Part of what we generate funds on is through our utility tax and leasing right-of-ways. Right, okay. You move that pipeline off reservation. You have a catastrophic event. It impacts us directly. First one's out of the box. It's going to hit us because that pipeline is a stone's throw running from the reservation border. And yet we're going to be denied the means to try to address any kind of effort at cleanup or protection of people and health and welfare. That to me is environment. You purposely move it off reservation. We get all the impact, none of the resources to help fight it, but all the impact. Was that greatest spot right below the spillway of the Fort Peck Dam? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So this was a decision that's based in politics and I think nothing more. And it's easy to take advantage of people that don't have the means to fight it. I think it's an environmental justice issue. The Northern Border and Trans-Canada should be ashamed of themselves, but that's just me.
Where they're crossing at right now, they're crossing the last two sources of fresh water. First of all, which no one ever talks about, they're crossing the Milk River. Because the Milk River comes right down and goes right into the Missouri River. And then they cross the Missouri River. And we're utilizing the Missouri River for our fresh water right now. We've got a $300 million water treatment plant that is federally funded, and that water treatment plant will pretty much cover the whole reservation plus all the outside communities from Glasgow all the way to the state line and from the Missouri River all the way to the Canadian border.
We have about 5 years left of construction to complete the distribution lines. And right now, 98% of our population is served. 92% of the dry prairie rural water system is served.
If it got into this plant, it would be devastating. As soon as it got into our intake, it's in there and it gets brought into the plant, into treatment process. The whole thing would be non-usable. We'd have to stop, pull everything out, clean it. Oil is hard to get off of metal. You'd have to use a lot of degreaser, I guess, to get it all off. But once it gets in, it's other than replacing the whole everything. So we couldn't make water. We provide water to 4 counties, 22 communities, and then all the rural people in between. This is their drinking water. It's my drinking water. If you drink water, it's your drinking water. You stay in town here, it's everybody's water.
I mean, because right now that water comes in, it's already treated, it's great quality, it's fantastic water. You'd have to retrofit your systems to hook them up to old wells, get them back online. And on the new water system, when they hook you up, they disconnect your old system. So you have a house in the country, you have to, because they don't want cross-contamination, so they'll disconnect your old system to your house. So it's up to you to try to figure out how to get that house back connected, if that would happen. Because there's no way, I mean, you can't be without water very long. It just doesn't work. I think the thing is that the oil and gas industry will assure you that everything is fine and things work perfectly. But the fact of the matter is, they don't. And so I think the relationship is you can have rules and you can have regulations, but when things get tight, people start cutting corners, and then you can have things happen that shouldn't happen. Right now they're doing great because there's all this Bakken oil coming in. There's production everywhere. But what happens when it turns around and the wells are depleted and they're gone? Then who pays attention to all that stuff? And they're running out of cash. Right? That's my worry.
But there's so many questions about their route. And going through where they're going through it, spillway. So many people could get harmed by it if it leaks. When it leaks. It will leak. It just takes time.